Good evening. Today I'm going to talk about progressive overload and why you probably shouldn't need to take it too seriously for that. So, I personally have never done a progressive overload routine or plan. I've kind of always went to the gym and just worked off feel and progressively have worked up weight. Now, I don't, I'm not here to say that progressive overload is inherently bad. Not at all. I think it's just more important for some people to realize that all the science and all the stuff in the world doesn't really matter if you're not putting it into action, right? So, um, but what I mean by that is like not necessarily taking everything that you read in a book or that you read online and um, putting it straight into working out. You kind of have to pick and choose, right, what you're going to use. But in progressive overload specifically, it's a basic thing, right? I guess I'll define it while I'm here. You're just gonna do bench, right? And let's say you start out at 135 and you want to work up to 215. So every week or whatever you're doing bench or every day, you're gonna add 2 pounds or 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, and eventually you get up to 215, right? So that's one way you could do it is just always kind of adding weight in with your workouts and progressively overloading, right? Like I said, I've never really prescribed to that. I probably have done it in practice, not intentionally. I picked a weight, right? I usually don't do bench. I usually just do dumbbells, but let's say I picked 70s and um, I'll do 70s or 60s for my first real set, and then I'll go up to 80s, and then 100s, and then whatever, 115. I never really think about, hey, I need to start out at this weight and to be able to get up to the weight I'm trying to get up to, right? I just kind of pick that weight. Okay, this feels good. Let me go ahead and pick up a little bit more. Okay, this feels good. I'm going to go do a little bit more. And definitely still trying to challenge myself, but never really putting it into a set in stone. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do 115 or whatever in dumbbells, and then I'm going to get up to 120s, and then I'm going to go to 130s. So just something to be mindful of. I mean, I guess we're in a real, especially with all the YouTube and the PhDs and exercise scientists and everybody, they all kind of have the science down for training, and this is how it's supposed to be. This is what the science says. This is what the data says. So this is the best way. And uh, I I don't think it's the best way because I think everybody has their own individual way of actually working out and trying to build muscle differently than what the data might suggest or what the science says that day. You know, I mean, it's getting a little out of hand because at the end of the day, you're just supposed to go to the gym and challenge yourself. Like Greg says, work harder than last time. And when you do that, obviously you're going to get more gains. You're going to experience, more muscle growth or more muscle stimulus because you're challenging yourself and you're not really, hey, I'm going to go ahead and do curls. Okay, but I don't really know the science behind curls. I'm just kind of using this example. But I watched an RP video and he says to do curls like this way and you're supposed to do it really really slow or whatever. I mean, it kind of gets out of hand when you're trying to think about all that stuff and really you're just trying to have a mind muscle connection and whatever feels good doing that mind muscle connection. And if you are actually feeling the specific muscle you're targeting, have muscle strain, then that's kind of where it should be, right? It doesn't really need to be scientific to get that data. But of course, science always evolves and always changes. It's kind of the stick with it, right? So taking the science with a grain of salt, obviously, and applying maybe what you hear and trying it out, but at the same time, if you let it interfere completely with your training regime, you're probably just going to get stuck. And it's one way to train, and if you look at the top athletes, the top bodybuilders in the world, they're not doing what the science says or the data suggests, right? They're doing it based on how they feel and how the muscle moves when they are doing a specific exercise and how it feels when they're doing the contraction. And that's kind of, at the end of the day, that's what you should be feeling, and those are the people with the most growth, right? So the science of it all, I kind of started off as a little bit different, right? I kind of started off with progressive overload and turned into more of a science-based video. So I guess I'll probably have to do some magic with the title. But yeah, I mean, the most important thing, just stick with a routine that you feel the most muscle stimulus when doing an exercise. That's kind of where it is, right? And if you want a progressive overload to get higher and higher, and right, because progressive overload, theoretically, you push more weight, you can get bigger, right? That's kind of course. But as I've gone over before, how you control the weight, I mean, your body doesn't know, or your muscles do not know how much weight you're pushing. They're only knowing the resistance. So if you can make 25s feel like 50s, you're going to get the, I mean, I don't know what the science says, but I'm sure you're going to get the same amount of growth if you're making that 25 feel like a 50 because you're using proper form. You'll probably even get more growth, to be honest, than using a 50, and then your form's slacking a little bit because it's a little bit heavy, right? You're ego lifting. So kind of everywhere with this video, but yeah. It's nice to see the science, to read it and see what the data suggests, but at the end of the day, take it with a grain of salt and do what you think is best. So, yeah, tangent video for sure, but I think it's kind of what is on everyone's mind nowadays because we're exposed to all of this science. So, anyways, that's my evening rant. So, go ahead and post this up for you guys. So, take care. See you tomorrow.